What's up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about 5 classic Creed fragrances, and I'm going to be ranking them from basically 5 to 1, from best to worst to best. In my opinion, I am a Creed lover. I do love all my Creed fragrances. I don't have any performance issues with my Creed fragrances. I've owned multiple bottles of Aventus, Viking, Millesime Imperial at this point, and a few of the other ones as well. I don't remember exactly. Himalaya would be another one, but that's not in this video. But yeah, these are going to be the most popular Creed fragrances, and I'll give you my thoughts. I'll do, I'm sorry, I thought I heard something. So yeah, I'll rank him as a top 5. So starting off with the number 5 spot, this is probably going to be already some backlash, but still in the number 5 spot, this is going to be a Creed fragrance that when you talk about Creed, it's cloned. It's a staple. It's going to be Millesime Imperial. So Millesime Imperial, I found out recently that this is one of the fragrances that does go bad quick, depending on how you store it. So, let's go ahead and spray it. So my last bottle smelled a little bit off. I wasn't really the biggest fan of it because it smelled a little bit off, and it probably was just how it was stored. Until I got the bottle. Right now, I'm smelling it out in the air. It's a great fragrance. It was actually one of my favorite fragrances to wear. It was Milestone from Colognes. It was a pretty good clone fragrance, but I always wanted the real thing. The real thing, in my opinion, is way better, less synthetic than Milestone, but it's still a really good fragrance. But yeah, that'll be Millesime Imperial. And I haven't worn it in quite a bit, but I need to put it back on. And I'll go ahead and put this here with the cap back on. And I'll put it here for the number 5 spot. But yeah, I did get rid of my fragrance the first time. But again, it was because it had that weird spoiled smell to it. This is a newer batch. It doesn't have that. And I store my fragrances correctly, so I'm not worried about my batch or my bottle going bad. Then at the number 4 spot, this is a fragrance I really do enjoy, but it has to be at the number 4 spot just because I prefer the other ones ahead of it. It's going to be Green Irish Tweed. Green Irish Tweed is a DNA that I had to not fall in love with, but it was more of I had a few clones of it. Trust Nuit by Afnan is a terrible clone of it, very synthetic, very headache inducing, at least to me. I had a co-worker, so I used to be a general manager at a dealership. It was a finance manager. He used to wear that fragrance. It was an Afnan Trust Nuit. It was like a blue bottle with the leather strap around it. And I wasn't really too much into fragrances at that time. That was a few years ago. And I asked him what he was wearing. He told me what it was. I ordered it. It was like maybe $15 on Amazon. I got it in, and I thought it was an absolutely terrible fragrance, but on my skin it didn't work. On his skin it smelled great. His office smelled pretty nice. But then I got rid of that bottle, or just never really wore it. I don't know if I threw it out or I sold it. I probably threw it out. I was in a part of the Facebook groups at the time. Then I ordered this clone of it, but this was a few years after when I moved to Buffalo, and it was a Carbon Edition by Harmine, Amber Oud Carbon Edition. And that fragrance actually accidentally delivered it to my Florida address. So my wife had it, and she opened it up and she smelled it. She said it smelled amazing. And then I was a little bit worried about it because I heard a lot of good things about Green Irish Tweed. I never smelled it. So I was like, do I really hate it that much, or is it just like that Afnan fragrance is terrible? So then, yeah, she ended up visiting me here in Buffalo, and she brought it with her. Actually, no, this was when she moved. She brought it with all her stuff. So, smelled it, and I thought I smelled great. She loves the scent. She thinks it's like a really masculine, clean scent. To me, I also get that masculine, more professional scent. This is a really nice fragrance to wear to the office. But yeah, it's a fragrance that I would say try the real thing for it. Harmine's Amber Oud Carbon Edition is a pretty good version for a clone, but not really close to the real deal. the real deal. I really did love it. The clone I was like okay with. I thought it smelled good, but not the best. But it was enough for me to be like, maybe I do want to try the real thing. And I went ahead and blind bought it. And this is the same bottle. Haven't got back since. Then going to the number 3rd spot. This was probably lower back then when I first got it. And again, another fragrance I had a clone of. Is going to be Silver Mountain Water by Creed. And this is going to be at the number 3 spot. So Silver Mountain Water by Creed. I used to have the Club de Nuit Sillage clone, which was a very bad clone of this, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the clone. And I was like, at some point, I have to get the real thing. For me, clones were always like, just experience the DNA, see what I think about it, and then I got rid of the clones, got the real thing. That was just how I went about it. Doesn't mean you have to, but that's just how I went about it. It was kind of like a sample. But a sample, you're paying, let's say, $20 for a sample of Virgin Island water. I mean, not Virgin Island water. Silver Mountain water. So what? The clone is like $20, and for a sample, you're paying $20. I'd rather have the 3.4 ounce bottle compared to like a 2 ml sample. Then I could just resell the bottle, whereas a sample, I would just finish the sample. And then buy the fragrance. Both ways, I'm still buying the same fragrance. If it's a fragrance DNA that I feel like the clone is just a bad quality, then I would probably go ahead and sample, or maybe try to find it in a store. But anyways, Silver Mountain Water, it's one of those that I think it was ranked lower when I talked about my Creed fragrances back then. Now it's pretty up there for me. This has become somewhat, my wife says it's my signature scent, or my scent. Yeah, I would say signature scent. This is the fragrance when she smells this DNA, she thinks about me. There is Xerjoff's Mephisto, which is a really simplified version of this fragrance. To me, Silver Mountain Water is more interesting, but if you don't like the inkiness of Silver Mountain Water and you like more of the dry down of Silver Mountain Water, go with Xerjoff's Mephisto. But to me, I got rid of my Mephisto actually and ended up staying with my Silver Mountain Water. Then at the number 2 spot, it's going to be Royal Oud. I wasn't too sure which would be the next fragrance to add. As much as I wanted to put Viking in this video, Viking isn't really one of those Creed fragrances that when you think about Creed, people think of. To me, it's my favorite Creed, but if it's like anybody else, it's not really, they're not thinking about that. They're thinking about one of these fragrances plus the last one, which you probably, you probably know which one it is. But Royal Oud is one I don't wear much, just because I want to save it as much as possible. This is probably the most expensive one, or was the most expensive one out of this bottle style, out of this this line. I'm not too sure what the line is, but it's a weird sweet wood, sweet cedar, but it's not sweet as in like a designer sweetness. It's a really unique sweetness. I had a clone of what I thought was a clone, which was Afnan Your Highness 3. It was the green bottle. People used to say that was a clone of this fragrance, and I'll tell you right now, it is not even close to what this fragrance is. I really enjoyed that clone, so I was expecting to get this and for it to be kind of similar. And that was actually one of my favorite clones to wear. But then when I got this real thing, I was like, this isn't what I was expecting. Kind of not put me in shock, but I wasn't expecting it. I wasn't ready for it. So I was like, do I like this? Until I wore it a few times and I was like, okay, now I can see why people love this. And then I started loving it myself. But again, I don't really wear it just because I don't want to waste the juice on it. Realistically, I should just run through this bottle and get a 3.4 ounce. At this point, I regret getting a lot of the 50 ml Creeds that I have in my collection. I wish I would have just spent the extra money and gotten the 100 mls. But I honestly didn't think, I knew I really enjoyed Creed at the time, but I didn't think I would really love the brand as much as I do. Pretty much wear them all the time. Have to stop myself from only wearing my Creeds and go with my other brands. But yeah, Creed Royal Oud, really unique. Haven't smelled anything that's come close to this. I know there's a Hooping fragrance that supposedly smells similar, but I haven't smelled that. This is the only fragrance from that DNA that I've smelled that smells how it smells. And then at my number 1 spot, it's going to be Aventus. And as you can see, Aventus, this is my fourth or fifth bottle of Aventus. I've never had any performance issues with my Aventus bottles. So take that with what you will. I never have an issue with projection, performance, sillage. I would say it lasts about 8 to 10 hours until I come home and shower. Last time I wore this fragrance wasn't even at work, so I don't remember what the performance was. Today I'm actually wearing Absolute Aventus, which is funnily enough is kind of what I thought about this video. I've been thinking about wearing Absolute Aventus for a while, but yeah, Aventus is probably it definitely is the most well-known Creed, to the point that people just think Creed is Aventus. So I used to do the same thing back in the day. I used to refer to my Creed bottle. I would say, oh, the Creed fragrance, and I would be referring to Aventus. I wasn't even aware that Creed had an entire line of fragrances. I thought it was just one fragrance, but that was years ago. And then when I smelled them, it was like, I don't remember where I smelled it. I think it was it was in Miami somewhere. I went to a Bloomingdale, I believe. I think it was Bloomingdale's, and I smelled Aventus, and they only had a rack of pretty much Aventus. So it was like a Creed. I think it was probably like during some kind of hype of Aventus that it was literally just like a shelf, and they just had a lot of Aventus bottles on it, and they were full of water. So I went to like grab one to try it, and the lady was like, "That's water. Come over here." And I was like, "All right." So she ended up just, spraying the fragrance on me, and I think she gave me a sample. No, she didn't. She gave me a sample of. Yeah. So she gave me a sample. No. So she actually did not give me a sample. My wife ended up buying the bottle. I wasn't actually going to pull the trigger on it, but she bought me the bottle. It was close towards Christmas time. And then in the mail, a few days or a few weeks later, I got a kind of like a small gift basket in the mail, or not even a basket. It was just more like a gift bag. It was something like similar to this Dior bag, this pouch, and it had Aventus cologne on it, which I believe was just released, and another small sample of Aventus, which I thought was pretty cool. And that's kind of like the benefits you get from buying retail. But yeah, that'll be the 5 fragrances in this order. My number 1, just to recap, is Aventus. 2, Royal Oud. 3, Silver Mountain Water. 4 is Green Irish Tweed. And at the number 5 spot is Millesime Imperial. Again, if I could add the fragrances that I really enjoy from Creed, I do really enjoy these, but there's others that aren't really too talked about or aren't considered classics, that I would definitely add as my top 5 Creeds. If you want to see that video, just let me know. I will be more than happy to talk about my